Greetings, I'm SUNCARD 19 and welcome to my channel. Today's pick a pile reading is based on the journey or the path towards attracting and being with a long-term relationship or choosing a spouse. Here we go. Up first, we have opal, hematite, rose quartz, labradorite. Okay, so what I want you to do is just take a moment, focus on the pile that you feel like is the best for you. Focus on the one that's going to give you the message that you need to receive. Greetings, I'm SUNCARD 19, and this is the opal reading on how to attract or what steps it would take for you to pick a spouse or a long-term relationship. Okay, up first here we have the Seven of Cups. And what this card has a lot to do with is a lot of choices and decisions. And so it's about looking at options and sort of saying like, well, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things that I could be thinking about, a lot of ways to look at this, and just sort of being a little bit all over the place in terms of what to expect, what to believe, and what to really want from a relationship. So one of the biggest things I deal with in terms of helping people with relationships is the fantasy of a relationship versus the reality of a relationship. So we watch TV, we see these movies, and we're like, man, these guys are happy all the time. They're just, spend time together. They have like money and everything. So it's like everything's all good. And so we have a tendency to wrap our ideals around maybe like perfect relationships or maybe even some fantasy of what a relationship is supposed to be. And so what this Seven of Cups card has a lot to do with is sort of getting the head out of the clouds and saying, you know what, let's come back to reality. Let's come back down to earth a little bit and say, well, what are realistic expectations? Think about people in your life or couples in your life. Like, what is their relationship like? Like, do I know anybody that's in a fairy tale type relationship, or do I know people that are in normal, regular type relationships? So think about that and see how that relates to your expectations, and say, not necessarily are you setting your expectations too high, but are they even realistic? Are they fairy tale relationship expectations, or are they just sort of, are they really are realistic? So check your expectations and check what you think is sort of like what you think you're supposed to get out of relationships. Next we have the Three of Wands first. To me, this is a card about being afraid to move ahead, being afraid to take certain steps. And so this is a card where I feel like you've been waiting for somebody to find you, but you haven't been willing to take those steps. You haven't been willing to really go out your way and say, you know what, I'm going to do things that are going to put me in a situation where I can attract and be around someone that I will eventually want to be with. So are you going out? Are you meeting new people? Are you, maybe joining a gym to meet people or something like that, where you're around different people and just finding a way? And so are you, just being open to new crowds of some sort? So this card says like, you haven't been willing to break your own routine, and you've been waiting for somebody to find you, but you're sort of in the same loop over and over again. Which brings us to the Three of Pentacles reversed here. And this is sort of a card about working as a team and working together. So what happens is, like, a lot of times people don't like to get recommendations. They don't like to get other people's advice in terms of who they should be dating or who they should be with. But sometimes with this Three of Pentacles reverse card, it's saying that maybe there's somebody in your network that can actually introduce you to somebody. So maybe put it out there to the people in your life and say, hey, I'm open to date. I'm thinking about it. I want to, maybe be with somebody, have a long-term relationship. Is there anybody that you think could help me? Or maybe you think that would maybe be a good fit for me. So this is about tapping into your own network. You may only be 1 degree relationship or separated from the person you may ultimately be with. And so what this card has a lot to do to me is saying like your network, the people you know in your immediate life may know the person already. So they may not be that far away from you. It may not be a situation where you have to open up some sort of dating profile, or you got to go to like Pittsburgh or something. Like you got to go far away, or wherever you are. Like it's not that kind of situation. I feel like this person is going to be closer to your circle than you really think they are. And so I would just sort of look out for and be willing to network within your own context already, and start to tell people like, hey, I'm open to a relationship. I want to be with somebody who's this, and that. And just put those out there. And sometimes you'll be surprised because you'll get people to say stuff like, oh, that sounds a lot like XYZ. Oh, maybe, who I might be, who might be good for you? This other person. But you sort of putting it out to people that you already network with. Up next here we have the 8 of Pentacles reverse. This to me, along with this 3 of Wands reverse, I get the feeling that maybe somebody you're not quite over yet. And so what that does is it sort of puts strings around your ability to attract and be with somebody new. Because by having this 8 of Cups here and this 3 of Wands, it just says that there's just unwillingness to let go, or unwillingness to change or do something different. And so what I would say is with this idea of finding a way to fully release and fully let go of somebody that you may have been with in the past. And so, journaling helps with that. A lot of meditation, crying if you need to, whatever you got to do to get your head clear and like finally let go of this person. Especially if you have like physical possessions in your house or your home, you might want to get rid of those, just sort of the energy and things like that from there. Also, there's just sort of just a sense of the belief. This may be a little bit of a sense of I'm not good enough. I get a sense from this 3 and this 8. They have a little bit of that theme too, where I don't deserve to be with somebody that's good or someone that's great. And so that would challenge you as well to sort of check those beliefs and make sure that you're not operating in a space of unwillingness or undeservingness. So take that away and address those. Don't take those for granted. Last year we had the 10 of Wands reverse. To me, this is the delay card. And it says that I get a sense that as you're following the steps, as you're attracting someone and you're doing what you got to do, I think it's going to take some time. It could take several months for you to really get on the right path, where you're really wrapping your mind and fully convincing yourself and being in a space where you're ready to attract somebody and be with somebody. So I don't think this is an immediate. This to me, this has a lot to do with delayed energy. A lot of reverse cards here, so I get a sense that you have some things to work on. You have some personal, some chapters and some growth that you got to work through so that you can get to where you need to be. So I don't think you're in the right place. Like if you were to meet that person today, I feel like it may not really work out because you're not where you're supposed to be. And so you're not the person that you need to be once you're in that relationship. So, or once you're gearing up or ready to start the relationship, you're close, but you're not quite there yet. So what I would say is work on yourself, be willing to tap into your network, and do what you got to do to let go of any past relationships or any any old energy you may have around you, stagnant energy in terms of love life, because you got to clear that stuff out. You got to get that out the way so that you can really be in your really prepared and ready for somebody, so that when they do show up, there's no I need you to help me through this or I need you to help me through that. It's more like I'm ready to go right now. And so you want to be, you want to have yourself in a place where you're completely ready before you attract another relationship, so that there's no delay and there's no blockages and there's no sort of baggage walking into the relationship, and that you're like clear and ready to go once you are there. So just be willing to deal with this, be willing to work with this, be willing to develop yourself, take a more long-term approach, and get yourself fully prepared. So don't be in in my opinion, this is not like a quick rush to be in a relationship before the new year or be in a relationship like next week. This is more like, hey, in a few months down the line, after I've done some serious work and I've done some releasing and some healing, then I'll put myself in a position where I'm truly ready to tap into the network and truly ready to get going and really, tailor down my expectations so that I can really get with and have a chance to be with a person that's realistic and someone who I can build a long-term relationship. I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19. Thanks for letting me read for you. Many blessings, love and light. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and share the channel with people. Have a good one. Peace. Greetings, I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19, and this is the hematite pile for the reading of what steps and what behaviors and practices do you need to get yourself prepared to attract and be with someone you could be in a long-term relationship, maybe even someone you can marry. Here we go. First here we have the Page of Wands reversed. Then we have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Six of Wands reversed, the Nine of Wands reversed, and the Emperor reversed. The Page of Wands reversed to me is being willing to get out of your vicinity, your very local stage. So being willing to expand your normal ground. So you may be someone who, if you sort of just looked at a map and you looked at your home and you looked at like where you go, like if you literally looked at like, well, I go to the grocery store, my job, my mom's house, whatever the case may be. Like look at that and say, well, I'm only like my entire life, almost my entire life is within like this 20-mile radius. Like everything is within this one little area of town or area of the county. And so it's like your whole life is sort of like spent in that space. And with this Page of Wands reversed to me is like, let's find ways to expand that space. Let's expand that. Let's go to a grocery store that's a little bit further away. Let's go to maybe a movies or a bar or something that's a little bit further than that. And so you're getting sort of out of your own little like personal bubble. So find out what that bubble is. Like literally go to a map and say, look, like just go to like a Google Maps or whatever and look at it and say, put some pins down. Like I go here, 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 and here. But I never really go beyond that. Like that's it. Like that's my routine. And so just sort of then from there sort of map out and say, what are some ways that I could actually expand that routine? Like what, if I go to a Target, like what's the next Target? What's the further one down the road or whatever the case may be? What's the next place? So find a way to sort of expand that horizon, expand that area of influence, because what's that going to do is that's going to put you around new people. And that may give you an opportunity to build new relationships, bump into people that you're not used to seeing, maybe some people that you used to know. But it's just going to expand your circle in a sense so that you're in contact and you're around different and more people. Next here we have the Page of Pentacles. And this is a card about learning, it's about studying, and it's also sort of having like a childlike attitude. With having these two cards next to each other, this is like having a sense of humor and just sort of having a lightness about you. So what I would feel like with these two cards is a willingness or a belief that you can be young and fun. Like some people are like, well, I'm like sort of old and this is all I have. Like this is it. Like I'm not really that exciting of a person. I'm kind of boring, whatever it is. Like this is sort of the sense of being willing to sort of approach life from a childlike experience, not like a baby, but like just a sense of having fun, being lighthearted, and just sort of having that floating energy about yourself where you're just sort of going about life, having fun, and you're not like all stressed and like bogged down by the eventual just things of life. So what I would say with this card, these two cards together to me have a lot to do with childlike energy, just young and excited and enjoying life. Next here we have the Six of Wands reversed. To me, this is a card where it's a sense of not giving yourself enough credit or not giving yourself the recognitions that you really deserve. So what I would do is take some time, take some journaling, and I would write down all the attributes of yourself that you really, really like, or parts about yourself that you really, really like and really, really enjoy. And so this sort of reminds you of your own quality or your own status. You're like, you know what? I've been treating myself like I'm a 4, but I'm really a 7. And I haven't been like acknowledging those things. And so what I would say here with this Six of Wands reverse is like, take some time to have some self-recognition and look at yourself and say, look, I'm great for all of these reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whatever that is. And so I'm great because I'm a great person, and I'm great because I do these things and I do those things, and this is all, and so, and really sort of try to find a way to write things down so you can increase your self-value. And so you have like those primed reminders of why you are great and what is phenomenal about you. And so I'm pretty sure there's a nice list of things that you can write down and you can really be a part of your life, that you can say, look, like I'm a quality person, I'm a great person, I'm attractive, I'm this, I'm that. But really having those things down, they bring them to your forefront of your mind. And so because you'll bring them to your forefront of your mind, you'll be thinking about them. And what that does is it's a reminder, and it's going to remind you how to behave, how to act, and how to walk in the world, because you're constantly reminding yourself of your value, of your worth. And that's going to put you in a place where you're increased your aura about you, your sense of lightness, your happiness, your reminder to yourself that you are phenomenal, and that you can just sort of be in a space of enjoying your time and just sort of having a sort of light walk and kind of a bounce about you, because you do recall like how phenomenal you are and why you're in that place. Next here we have the 9 of Wands reverse, and to me this is the guarded card. And so two things. Now we talked about this earlier about being guarded in your behaviors and routines in your spaces that you travel, because you may only box yourself into a small little radius. But also I feel like this is a guarded card in terms of boxing yourself off from other people and sort of having a shield up or having a wall up at all times. Maybe you get a sense of, I don't want to be noticed, I don't want to be seen, that type of card, that type of sense where it's like, I don't want to be a center of any attention. Matter of fact, I don't want people to see me at all. I don't really want to be seen. And so this card is a call for you to not be hidden, to not be someone that's sort of just to not be someone who, what would I say, it wants to be hidden or not be seen, someone who wants to be camouflage or background images. This is someone who says, hey, it's time for you to step to the forefront, be seen, dress in a certain way that, like not provocative, but dress in a way where you look nice, or that you're presentable at all times. And so, have yourself prepared so that you can, when you do meet this person, you're not in a state where you're like, I wish I would have dressed a little bit better or whatever, not put yourself in that situation. But really what this card is saying is that it's time to take the wall off. It's time to take the blinder off, or take the cloak off where you don't want people to see you. And so what this 9 of Wands is to me is saying, I'm willing to be seen. I'm ready to be seen. I would like to be seen by someone who could eventually be a potential mate or someone I can be with. So attracting this relationship has a lot to do with not being cocooned, not being trampled down about your own self-value, your own self-worth. And so this 9 of Wands reverse has a lot to do with being someone who is just sort of blocked themselves off from the world, someone who's separated themselves and just doesn't want to be seen, someone who likes playing the background, doesn't really want to, doesn't want any unwanted attention, and just sort of holds it off from there. And so this card is saying these two to me have a lot to do with self-value, self-worth, self-recognition, and even self-advertising, putting yourself out there saying, I'm someone who wants to be in a relationship. I'm going to make eye contact with people. I'm going to smile. I'm going to, look people in the eye. I just said that. Just be someone who's personable, someone who may laugh, someone who's willing to spark a conversation, but just someone who's really to put themselves out there. And last here we have the Emperor reverse. To me, this card has a lot to do with a fatherhood relationship. So the outcome card here says that as you sort of create a new lightness, as you sort of walk about in the world a little bit differently with a new sense of purpose and a new sense of self-esteem and a sense of self-worth, that takes us here to the Emperor card, which is a calling to heal the relationship with your father. And so what that means to me is, if your father's living and you're able to talk to him and you have a relationship with him of some sort, this card says that do the best you can to heal that relationship. And so for whatever reason, this relationship is blocking you from going on and being in the relationship you want to be. So maybe you were treated a certain way by this person, you don't appreciate that, and it still sort of lingers. And this is sort of creating some mental pattern for you where you may believe that like all men act that way, if it is in fact the man that you're seeking. But what this card is saying is that the relationship with your father has a lot to do with the way that you see yourself and the way that you see other mates or potential mates or someone that you may want to be with. So by healing this relationship, by giving it the energy that it needs, giving it the time that it needs, and pouring into that relationship a little bit, and sort of coming out on the other side saying, you know what, I'm glad I healed that relationship. I'm glad I'm working on that relationship with my father. I think it just creates a new space, and it may really increase your confidence. It may decrease some stress or some worry or anxiety you may have about things that you aren't even realize that you may have been talking about or thinking about in your mind. And so by healing this relationship, by working on this relationship, I feel like you put yourself in a space where you can, have like a sort of a newness or a new lightness by working on a relationship. So I feel like as you build yourself up, as you're working on your self-worth and self-gratitude, I think it's going to lead you down the path of dealing with your father and working on your father. And by healing that relationship, if you're in a place where you can now, let's say you're unable to make contact with your father for whatever reason, let's say he's passed, or let's say you literally just don't talk to him or don't know who he is, then work on a father-like figure, or even do it like through journaling, where you would talk to this person, and maybe even before you go to bed, before you dream at night, you sort of imagine yourself talking to this person and healing the relationship. And I feel like that's going to make some moves, and that may help you a lot as you progress towards the relationship that you really want to be in. So, but don't take that lightly. Work on that relationship, and I think it'll help you get to the next level. I'm alive to SUNCARD 19. Thanks for letting me read for you. Many blessings, love and light. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, comment, tell me why you chose this pile, what it meant to you, and let me know how it went for you. Be sure to subscribe and share the video. Have a good one. Peace. Greetings, I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19, and this is the Rose Quartz pile. This is a reading on the steps and the journey towards attracting and being with someone for a long-term relationship, maybe even potentially a spouse. Here we go. Okay, up first here we have the Three of Cups reversed. This card has a lot to do with is sort of missing opportunities to celebrate with people. So this may be a chance for you to go to the wedding or go to chances to just connect with people. So if there's a party or a Thanksgiving dinner or a holiday social, whatever the case may be, this is saying, hey, find a time, put yourself around people. And so with this card sort of is a sense of isolation, a sense of not wanting to be sort of having fun, or not even want to engage with people and be around people. So if you really want to put yourself in the state of being around people and connecting with someone new, this Three of Cups reverse is that you have to enjoy yourself a little bit. You got to go maybe enjoy the social situations, go around people, be around people, have fun, be the life of the party if you're willing to. And so this puts us here with this Two of Swords next to this here Four of Wands. And so to me, this is the crossroads card. It's like if you're sort of lonely and being a little bit stubborn, and just sort of the crossroads between connecting with family and enjoying like holidays and festive situations. So the Three of Cups reverse is a festive card. The Four of Wands is a festive card. The Two of Swords in the middle is a not festive card. This is a card where someone's like isolated and wants to be alone. Someone who's just sort of sitting there with their arms folded, maybe just sort of feeling like, whatever, like, screw those people. I'd rather just be alone. And so there's a lot of loner energy here. Someone is like, I don't want to be around those people. And so what I would say here, and for this front side of this reading, is there are opportunities available to you to connect with people, to have fun, to party a little bit, to go out, to take like a fun class or whatever the case may be, and you'll have a chance to connect, and you would have a chance to connect if you were willing to enjoy and be around people. But this middle card is like an icky card. It's like, I don't want to be around people. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to get dressed and look nice. I just want to be home in my sweatpants on the couch. And that's okay for sometimes, but eventually if you're looking to create and be a part of a relationship and be in a space where you're really going to enjoy it and connect with somebody who you really want to be with, someone who might really be fun, you're going to have to go out and do things and go and then be around social situations and whatever the case may be. You gotta go, like you gotta do stuff. And so this is a card about this front side is deciding to be festive, deciding to be around good people, deciding to maybe go to a concert or something, or a local laugh house, a local comedy place where you can connect with people. Go to an open mic night. I don't mean you gotta sing, but just go out and enjoy it. Go to a poetry and just be festive. If your family is having something, go enjoy your family and be around people. I just get a sense that you got like a lot of loner energy going on in your life, and part of you wants to be in a relationship, part of you doesn't want to talk to anybody. And it's like, you can't attract a relationship and be with somebody if you're not willing to talk to people, because even if you're in a long-term relationship, that's going to put you around that person's family and friends. So your circle just gets expanded always. And so and any new person that they meet and they connect with, and their coworkers or whoever, your circle is going to expand. So you just got to sort of open your chest up a little bit and say, hey, am I willing to like really embrace and be around people and enjoy people? And you might not be a people person, but you can handle it in doses. You don't have to go to a concert every night, but maybe once a week, or do something social once or 3 times a month. But really get yourself out of your comfort zone and get yourself out of your routine here. Next here we have the Page of Cups reversed. This is a card about a relationship, usually with someone younger than you, someone who may be a little bit more emotional than you. And so next to this 5 of Cups reversed, to me, this has a sense of not being over somebody. Maybe there was a relationship that you were in that you just sort of just haven't quite healed from and not quite really gotten over this person. So it's still sort of a challenge for you to maybe trust again, because maybe this person wasn't very mature. Maybe this person was very self-centered and they didn't really do what they were supposed to do in a relationship. And so that's maybe set you a little bit like gun shy and saying, you know what, I want to be with somebody, but I don't want to go through that again. And so that's fair. It's a fair way to feel, but it doesn't mean that's the way everybody's going to treat you and how everyone's going to be. And so this 5 of Cups is an invitation towards healing. It's an invitation to a bridge, the bridge over the water, because that's a chance for you to say, all right, you know what? I was in that relationship. It's over. I get a chance to heal from it. And I get to learn some things, and I get to enjoy the good times, because it's not always bad. And you get to look back and say, I really like this part, I really like that part. I could leave that part or that part, but this part was pretty cool. And so, I grew from it. I've gotten better. I'm okay, and I can move on. And so this 5 of Cups here, this Page of Cups, this has a lot to do with getting over something, moving past something, letting somebody go. And so if you're in a state where, you want to be in a new relationship, but you find yourself on like a weekly basis really thinking about and going over the details and the what ifs of a past relationship or several past relationships, what I would say from that situation is you may not have fully healed from them, and it's time to do some cleansing, time to get rid of some things, because that can really help you physically, emotionally, mentally get over this person. And so maybe you might literally need to clean your home out and get rid of any item that this person may have given you, or maybe even remind you of that person. And so this is just sort of a letting someone go. And it's not, I don't get a sense that this person was like horrible or whatever. I just get a sense that the relationship didn't work out. The person may not have been very mature, and it may have been the right thing to end the relationship, but it just wasn't horrible enough to you to be like, I never want to do that again. But it's in a state, it's something where you're still sort of maybe holding on to. It's like, you gotta understand that I feel like that person's gone, that relationship's over. And so what I would say also is to not look back, or to not try to go backwards on this relationship. So I would not seek this person if I were you. So as you put yourself back out there, be around people, be in festive situations, go to the big dinners or whatever the case may be, go to the job functions. You never know who you're going to meet and be around. And as you get more festive and get out of your cocoon this gives you an opportunity to be around new people so that you can really cleanse and really let go of someone from the past, so that you create a fresh plate or a fresh state where if you do attract somebody, or when you do attract somebody, you're fully ready for them and you're not in a 1 foot in, 1 foot out situation. And really, frankly, this here, these two cards, it may be a situation where you're sort of blocking that person for ever even showing up because you're not ready for them. And you may know that on a deeper level, like, you know, I want to be with somebody, but I haven't really done the work. I really haven't done what I was supposed to do. I haven't done the healing. I haven't done the crying. I haven't done the writing, the journaling, the talking. I haven't gotten it all out of my system yet. And maybe if you need to do a solo podcast for 2 hours, just getting all the details out so that you can just sort of feel like you told someone and you finally release them into your, verbally release them from your body, that'll give you a chance to move on and let go of this person so that you can be more festive, be more fun, go be around people and be a little bit more lighthearted and be a little bit more the life of the party so that when the time is right, you will connect with the right person. So get out the house, get out your comfort zone, be willing to dress up, look nice, put yourself in a situation where you're around new people, and then that will help you sort of heal and move on. So now what I would say is this sort of feels like it's not an overnight process. This is something that you're going to have to go through and work through for some time, weeks and months, so that you can really get to where you need to be so that you can attract and be with the person that ultimately you need to be with. I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19. Thank you for choosing this pile. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Many blessings to you. Love and light. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Tell me why you chose this pile and what this reading means to you. Have a good one. Peace. Greetings, I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19, and here's the reading based on the labradorite. And so the question here is, what steps and attitudes and behaviors do you need to do or take so that you can attract someone that you could be in a long-term relationship, potentially even marry? Here we go. Okay, well, first here we have the Hermit card reverse. Then we have the Sun card reverse, the Lovers card reverse. We have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Ace of Swords. So here with the Hermit card reverse, this card is a card about being the lone soldiers, being on your own. Someone who just doesn't want to be around a lot of people. Someone who may be highly introverted. Someone who would just sort of rather just be in the house, maybe even work a job from home. Like someone is like, I don't really want to be around a lot of people, but still also crave to be around people, but not really know how to go about doing it, or maybe even feel a little bit awkward, or even maybe a little anxious to be around people or crowds. So this is like the loner card, and this right now is saying like heading into even the winter season, the Hermit card reverse is saying that you may have a tendency to lock yourself in. You may have a tendency to sort of live in your own world or your own mental bubble and not really sort of connect with other people and not really be, really wanting to connect with other people. So what I would say with this Hermit card reverse is what can you do to get out of your own little personal bubble so that you can open up and be more engaged, be more approachable, be more willing to connect with people, just anybody, people in general, not necessarily someone who you're in a relationship with, but just be more approachable, be more personable, be more agreeable, where you're willing to open up and engage with other people and get to know them and hang out and just sort of not be as lonely or be someone who wants to be by themselves as much. Up next here we have the Sun card reverse. To me says that the Sun card is like an extremely positive card, has a lot of omen to it, where it's like a sense of shining light on a situation or brightening up a situation. So the Sun card reverse is like a card where you may not necessarily, it's sort of a lack of hope on the situation. It's like there could be to be more hopeful in terms of what the relationship could be or be in a relationship, which leads us here to the Lovers card reverse. And these cards, both of them have a big suns in them. And so the Lovers is like the most, is the ultimate love relationship. And we have the Ten of Cups here as well. And what I get from these cards is a sense of, like, if you really thought about it and really went deep on yourself, I think that you really do deserve a great relationship, a great family. But I feel like there may be a sense of like like a self-esteem, maybe even like a self-worth or self-value type thing, where you may not feel like you deserve it for some reason, or you may feel like why me? Like do I really deserve to be with someone who's great, who wants to have a family with me and be phenomenal? And it's like, well, also a sense of, well, I may not come from a great family, so I don't think it's right for me to wish for a great family. And so that doesn't have to be the case. And so with this card, with the sun reversed and this lovers reverse, is shining light on the sense that you deserve to be in a happy relationship. You deserve to be with someone who's going to treat you right and have a great time with and really enjoy their space and comfort and be with them. And so this middle three cards are saying, like, getting over the feeling of the internal block, or just sort of that sense of, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to be great. I don't deserve a fairy tale wedding. I don't deserve like to really be in love and really like have someone who loves me, and there's someone like we're best friends. We can talk about anything. We can grow a lot. We can go, whatever. Okay. So with this middle card, is a sense, a lot to me is a lot to do with internal self-value and valuing yourself and putting yourself on your own internal pedestal, knowing that you're a great person, someone who deserves to be loved, someone who deserves to be in a committed and happy and successful, growing, striving relationship. So this central cards here is like a sense of not really like really believing that you deserve it and really believe that you're capable of being in that type of relationship. And it's get a sense like you're more of a loner. So it's like you're willing to maybe start a relationship, but then you're like, all right, I'm out. Or, maybe a lot of self-sabotage, like, you know what? I'm going to ruin it anyway, so I might as well just ruin it now. And so being willing to think more long-term that, everybody has internal dialogue a lot about things that they may feel guilty about, or things that they may sort of have these little personality traits or self-esteem things. Like, we all deal with that kind of stuff. And so once you connect with somebody and open up and say, I'm kind of a loner, I may not feel like I deserve to be in a relationship, I think I'm a good person, but I don't know, X, Y, Z. You may realize that as you open up and connect and you talk it out and you sort of process those feelings and those emotions, you'll find out like a lot of people have that. Like, that's just normal. We sort of all carry around, anyone who's not like psychopathic really does carry around like, sort of self-doubts and sort of, self-blocks. Like we all do that, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to feel unique about it. Like, it's like you're the only one. And as you sort of dig deeper into people and allow yourself to open up to people, you may come to find that you're much more normal than you realize. And so you don't have to be shied away or shunned or removed from the crowd or people. And it leads us to the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is a card about like cutting yourself a new path and really, really like forging a new direction. And so the Ace of Swords, just imagine yourself like in a jungle and you have like this sword and you're just cutting branches away. And you're literally trailblazing yourself into a new space. And so as you reconfigure your self-talk, as you really, flesh out these ideas of, self-worth and self-value, I feel like you're going to blaze a new trail here on the back end with the Ace of Swords. And with the Ace of Swords, to me, has a lot to do with the way you speak about yourself, the way you talk about yourself to other people, your internal dialogue, and then trailblazing a new path and saying, you know what? I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to be a new person. I'm going to grow, develop. I'm going to try new things. I'm going to get out of my own comfort zone. I'm going to not necessarily be a loner anymore. I'm willing to connect with people. Now, I don't got to be a musician overnight, but what I can do is be something that I can be someone who is much more social, someone who's much more calm around people, someone who may be even a little bit funny. And I'm just sort of going to enjoy that, and I'm going to be around people, and I'm going to sort of come out of my shell, and I don't have to be an introvert anymore. And as you do these things, as you sort of walk with your chest a little open, a little bit more, and feel a lot more confident about who you are, that's going to put you in a space where you're much, much more likely to attract and be with someone who you really want to be with, someone who you can build a future with. So this Ace of Swords is sort of time to forge forward as a new person, sort of lead the charge as a soldier, as a knight would with a sword, where you're leading yourself to a new space and a new a new way of healing and a new life. So it's a big deal, and I'm looking forward to just sort of how this unfolds for you. I'm Elijah SUNCARD 19. Thanks for letting me read for you. Thank you for choosing this plow. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, the comment, subscribe. Tell me what this reading meant to you, why you connected with it, and how things turned out. Love and light. Peace.